Okay, guide me through a breathing.
Okay. I look like I really have been through it. Like I've really come to the closest coming to God. Wow.
Well, cheers. Before we start, cheers.
Salud.
And I should start the podcast with an intention.
Okay.
So I'm going to start doing it with you. You're like the best practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, my own personal intention for this podcast is going to be for people to learn the importance of breathing and for them to apply whatever we're going to talk about on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I think my intention will be to help myself recognize some of the things I love about breathing that I sort of forget sometimes in daily life without talking about it.
Like a little reminder.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for me it can be a reminder, and hopefully it can showcase for me the type of person that, or sort of the messaging that I want to convey. It's a little bit different from what I'm used to on camera, and it's a little bit used to than what I'm used to talking about. So, I mean, like on camera wise.
Gotcha.
So.
Alrighty, shall we get started?
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
we breathe?
Yes, please. Guide me.
Okay. I want to state that in the beginning, it's as you were talking about before, it is always difficult to
Centered?
when you introduce a camera and when you introduce an audience that's not necessarily directly in front of you, it becomes very difficult to center into your best and truest intentions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I look to accomplish when I'm working with a camera is to be able to capture the soul. It's very difficult because personalities change nearly immediately, no matter how many years you've been doing this. The concepts in your mind change.
The selection of words.
Yes.
You do a little performance.
And if we can accept that little bit of performance is going to be there, then we can work with that, right? And we can hopefully just be able to recognize and move forward in that way and understand the responsibilities that come with it and whatever else. So I would like for us to spend maybe 10 breaths beginning to notice just our normal breath rhythm, nothing much deeper than you're used to, just in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. I'll ask you to keep doing that while I speak a little bit more. The word that initially comes into my mind is perception. I think a lot of the performance comes on because we are thinking about how others are going to perceive us because we are in this state in a vulnerable position. But the truth is the way we believe that people are going to perceive us is never actually the way they are perceiving us, and there's nothing that we can do beyond just being as close to authentically ourselves as we can be. If you haven't yet, you can take your breath a little bit deeper. Feel it really enter your lungs, fill your lungs, and exhale. Become slightly aware of your posture. See if your back is straight, your neck aligned, shoulders facing a little bit out towards the back. We can close the start of this because we have a podcast to do by stating that this wasn't necessarily a meditation. It wasn't. There were no real rules to this. There were no real goals other than just sitting with your breath and recognizing the power that just doing that for a minute a day can invoke for the rest of your day, and then in time, your life. Yeah, so I feel a little bit better.
Me too.
Okay.
Yes, because my heart was beating a little. I guess we can just start and then we can talk about it. So, welcome, you guys.
To a relaxed full C.
Welcome to a relaxed full C podcast. Welcome to season 2,
Wow.
which I told you it's about expanding your lens, and for people to talk to me, and for people that are listening to learn something new or learn a new perspective on things, and basically expand their lens or their mind a little bit more than what they're used to. So today we're going to talk about the breath and breathing.
Yes, it's when I was, Paul asked me to do this, I thought it was very funny that when she said, I want you to come on and talk about something that you're passionate about. And I'm like, well, I'm passionate about a lot of things, so I'm wondering what that will be. And she's like, well, I have an idea. It's breathing. And I was like, what a funny concept to be passionate about, like the very basis of why you're alive. Like, yeah, it's like a very weird thing to be passionate about, but actually, if you break it down, like it's like kind of the thing we should be most passionate about.
True, and then we forget to do.
It's amazing how many people, and like I was in this group because I found meditation and breathing while I was in college, and then I dropped out for a long time. You dropped
out of college?
No,
or the group?
no. I dropped out of meditation. I dropped out of having sort of a routine practice.
Okay.
For many years, and while I was in college, I was starting to really meditation was just cool. It was the things that I was feeling and seeing, and I was like, wow.
What is this?
what is this? Cool. Like, it's almost like, let's do it, man. Like, like it's almost like taking a drug. But yeah, that was really wonderful and really new. But the less and less you do it, the harder it becomes to get into states of calmness through breathing. Um, so it's amazing to me, and something that I hope that through this we can help that. How rare it is for people to even spend one of their thousands of breaths a day present and conscious of the fact that they're
Doing it.
yeah, doing it. Just one. And one has like an incredible effect, especially when it's your first one. Like when it's your first conscious breath, and it's literally just saying like, I'm going to feel the air go through my nose. I'm going to feel where it is in my body, and then I'm just going to let it out through my mouth. And like, it doesn't even have to take that long. Just, and what it begins to do, well, we can talk a lot about what it begins to do. But if you try it, if they tried it in this moment,
Yeah, do you
I
guys
think
wanna
you might be
try?
on our wavelength.
Try whatever we do. I invite you guys to try it out, so you know exactly what we mean. And you could be in the car, you could be at the office, you could be in your bed, in the shower. You breathe all the time, so you could do it right now.
You breathe. Like, you're doing it.
You're
Like, that's
doing
the
it,
thing,
but not
is like
consciously.
you're doing it, you know, like you're doing it. I find a lot of times I still have trouble consciously breathing. The ultimate goal is to be sort of consciously breathing as much as possible. That doesn't. That's, you know, a big work in progress.
Yeah.
But what I notice is that sometimes, like, I'll catch myself, like, I go down some sort of path and then there's nothing else to do, so it like clicks in my mind, and what I say is, I'm here. It's like this is the first time that I'm like how did I get right here, you know, like all of these other moments, like I was semi-conscious, I was, you know, sort of, but I was going about the day. There was a lot of routine.
Right,
there
like
was a lot of-
autopilot.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a huge autopilot, and then all of a sudden, like, you can break down and say, like just look for a second and be like this, like,
Yeah.
how, like, you were to tell me a week and a half ago that this was happening, I wouldn't believe you, really, you know, like, or I would have no concept of knowing that. So that's pretty sort of a cool marvel in itself about life. And like one breath can do that. One breath and a little bit of observation. It's not like, it's weird how hard it is.
Yeah. Especially because we do it all day, every day. Literally. So when we do it so much, we don't realize that we're doing it. It's like you don't realize that your heart is beating because it's obviously beating. But when you like close your eyes and you feel it and you take a second to really like consciously know the heartbeat, you're like, wow, my heart is beating and it's like pumping blood and it's doing a lot.
It's a little scary, honestly. Like, it's a little bit scary for me sometimes. Like, I do that and I recognize the heart and I'm like, wow, like, there's so much I can't control. There is so much I don't know about what's actually happening to me right in this moment.
Yes.
Like, I could say I'm here, right? And I can, like, take that for what it is, of what I'm able to, like, attach names to, or in the best of my being, not attach anything. Like, just attach saying, like, I don't know shit. Like, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything
really
about
don't.
how I got here, or like what's going on. And that's all right, because like like I don't see an alternative. You know,
Right,
like
right.
right in this moment, there is no other alternative. So that's sort of the best moment. But then, like when you do start to break that down, when you start to say like the heart, and then all of like the amount of work and the amount of like the amount of work that's going inside of the heart every day, and then like blood vessels, veins, arteries, like boom,
Everything.
boom, and it's like you think you have control of your life, like you think that your mind is sort of the master of what is going on. No way, you know, like with like it's very much an equal part existence of like of all of your organs, all of like this system that your body is, like it's very much equal parts. Like your mind is nothing compared to like without your heart, without your liver, without your digestive system.
I get what you're saying. Like
Mhm.
it's as important as all of those.
Mhm.
But you know what? I feel like the mind is one of the most important in terms of, yes, like the heart does it naturally and does it without like even thinking about it, which is like, we can talk about like, that's another topic, but it just does it naturally. But the mind, we are able to control it, and when we control the mind, you can alternate how fast your heart is beating, how much you're breathing, how if like how much you're sweating, even to that point, like you can start thinking about things that make you nervous and you can start sweating. So it's like the mind is the controller
Mhm.
of
I,
all of that.
I would, okay, I agree in a sense, but in the same way, like I really don't think controlling your mind is easier than controlling your heart rate. Like you don't like you can, and this is where breathing comes in, and this is where, you know, like you can control your heart rate by saying I'm going to go for a run, and like you sort of know that this my heart's going to start beating faster. My like okay, so was that conscious decision the mind? We can get into more of that, right? But the mind is the problem that we have by living so closely inside of our minds. Is that I want to get this right.
Okay.
So I'm going to breathe. I'm going to take one breath.
Yes, that happens to me. You said, while you breathe,
Yeah.
you said something to me at the beach the other day that it will forever be stuck with me. In me or with me? Stuck with me? Stuck in? Both of them. You said, because I was like a little anxious, it maybe is the word, and you're like, take a breath. A conscious breath goes a long way. And I was like, let me breathe.
Just once.
Just
Yeah.
once. And that like one good breath that you're like, that like you fully feel it. It takes, at least for me, it takes a while to get to that one breath.
Yeah.
But it starts with that one breath to get to
To
that
the
one breath.
to get to the one breath.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what we want to do today is, or my intention at least, is for you to tell us the importance of why we should consciously breathe and how we can consciously breathe.
Okay. So the topic on the mind is a little bit more meditation based, which is a little bit different than I think what we should be talking about today. But I will just say that to finish what I was saying, I do believe that the mind gets cluttered by a lot of things that are external to us. Our thoughts. One of the biggest things in this moment that like you had at the beach while I was going through meditation classes, one of the biggest things that stuck with me was that your thoughts are not you.
Yes.
You are not your thoughts. The voices inside of your head, or at least what comes, what's materialized in your head, is not you speaking to you.
Right.
It's sort of like clouds of thoughts that have been manipulated, or manipulated might not be the best word, but let's say manipulated by your exterior environment, by the people that you're talking to, by the music that you've listened to, by all of these things. It's not the very basis of who you are. So a lot of times, like, people will get very nervous by the thoughts that they're having, but just know, like, you don't have to take full responsibility of what is being said. The only thing that you can do is what you really are is the decision maker and the gatekeeper. You can train yourself to decide what thoughts actually enter yourself.
Filtering those thoughts.
Exactly.
I like that.
That's the training, is to be able to say, no, this doesn't serve me, and just let it pass by. Like, the way that we speak about it is either like a cloud passing by, or a distant conversation that you can decide whether to engage with or not.
Okay.
You hear something and you can say, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to feel this and I'm going to attach myself to it, or we'll move on, and within seconds it's gone.
Yes.
So that's all I will say about the mind.
Yeah,
it's
because
all
the mind,
very
that's
attached.
another topic.
Yeah. Season 3 we can go
Season
into.
3,
Yeah,
yes!
Season 3 we can go
Or maybe
into the
even
mind.
season 2,
Oh my
another
God.
episode. But yes, the mind is its own topic, its own little beast. But the breath.
Let's talk about it.
Why do you think I chose, or I gave you the idea of doing, like, talking about the breath?
I think it would be because of the way that we met each other, and how thus far your understanding of me is, because as we talked about before, like 2 years ago, like, we would be doing a podcast on maybe football, and I have made conscious decisions to alter the way that my perception is, or the way that people perceive me, in order to be able to be having the conversations that I want to be having.
Got it. So you're filtering yourself to attract the people and the types of conversations that you want to have.
And that's what we're all doing.
Yes.
We're all deciding what clothes we're going to wear, how our hair is going to look, what type of jewelry, our external facing approaches, like what bars we're going to go to, like all of these things are all conscious decisions of the way that you want other people to perceive you. So, apparently, I have done a very good job.
Yay!
Because this is exactly where I want to be in life, and it's how I want people to be able to see me, because it's really beautiful. It feels like you can sometimes have a little bit of like a impersonator effect. Like, you could feel like you're not really there, like you're not really that person that, like, you're sort of going out and doing. But this is a different topic. Okay, so yes, that's my answer. I have orchestrated the whole thing.
Yes! You made this happen.
I made this. We manifested it. But also at the same time, I would never have confronted you and your group if I didn't feel that external approach was coming out of you guys as well,
That energy.
Yeah, because, like, it's very difficult to meet people like that, I would love for the whole world, like, I want to preach it so that the whole world can be like that.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was honestly such a beautiful, pure moment, and I think one of the most beautiful things, besides a lot of things that happened, was how you could feel our pure energy. I don't know if pure is the word, but you could feel our vibe,
Yes.
our,
Well, I will say that it helped that there was a wonderful cat just sitting there,
Antonio.
like just like sort of
My
vibing,
gosh.
like that sort of helped me say, yeah, no, this is
This is the place
the
to
place.
be.
Yeah, and I also had a camera, and a film camera, and those are all decision making things as well. You know,
Yes.
to be able to lead yourself to the conversations and
I
to the
know.
people that you want.
And it was exactly, I literally attracted you without me knowing I was attracting you, because I was about to take a picture of one of the people there, and it was like picture perfect. It was like the clothes, the cat, the pose, everything was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I need to capture this moment. And then you came in and you're like, do you guys mind if I take a picture of this moment? And I was like, please do,
Yeah.
please, please,
Yeah.
please do.
It was it's, we can do a whole episode on how we met. But I would just say that it was a very present moment. That was it. Like it was just I think present attracts present because it is it. Right.
Right.
Exactly.
It was just it. It was
Yes.
not planned. It was not.
Yeah.
It was just it.
Okay, let's talk about the bread.
Okay, the bread. Yes, the bread.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, what do you think is the most important thing about breathing besides keeping us alive?
Besides staying alive, I would say staying alive really is one major thing. I would say that it is when it is a major relaxator.
Relaxant?
It helps with relaxation. Okay. So like it will, in just a short amount of time, physically slow down your heart rate. One of the main things that conscious breathing or deeper breathing will do is it will give the signals out to the rest of your body that everything's okay. That fight or flight situation that we sort of constantly live in.
It's not necessary at the moment.
Right, exactly. We're okay. And that's really nice. It's like when I was in like my darkest spaces, which were caused by a lack of this education, but then also a constant state of thinking in the future. I'm not really a thinker in the past, so that's depression. Thinking in the past. Thinking in the future is anxiety. I was creating all of these realities as to like, oh, it's gonna be like this for me, like this, like this, and then this, and then this. 2 years later, none of that's happened. But I'm very happy in the exact space that I am right now. What breathing also allows you to do, so this is number 2, is it brings you into the present moment. Again, back to that I'm here. Like I can
breathe with us.
just stop at any moment. That's the beautiful thing about it.
And when you were talking about the present is literally all that we have.
Yeah. Yes.
Because the 2 seconds ago, it already passed. Like, boom. What me saying 2 seconds ago already passed. What's gonna happen has not happened. And what is happening right now is it. Is literally the present moment. So when you take a chance to breathe and be present, and this is something that I read in Think Like a Monk from Jay Shetty. It was like the first thing that you should do when you wake up, instead of looking at your phone, is breathe. Like consciously breathe. And while you're breathing, look at one object in your room, whatever that is, a lamp, a un cuadro, a hat, whatever, and just look at it and see the shape of it, the color, where did you get it while you're breathing. And what that allows is you to be present and to be conscious. So I think that you can do all of that anywhere. It's just a matter of doing it consciously.
Well, yes, you can breathe. It helps you recognize the situation that you're in for what it actually is. So, that being said, like, if you know that in certain situations, you can, like, your breath, your conscious breath, is easier for you and it's more enjoyable, then, like, what you're doing is really recognizing a situation that's very good for you. A very healthy situation because it's very connected to the source, which is oxygen, and it allows for a lot of oxygen to come in. It that's another great point about breathing is oxygen.
Yes.
But I will say first, and so it recognizes where good things are for you, but at the same time, it also recognizes spaces that you can start to see are actually detrimental to your health, are detrimental to your well-being. Because if you do have a moment of trying to be present in there and it's not a situation that you love, then you know, and you're just connected to the moment, good, bad, whatever it may be, and then you can start to make the decisions that bring you to places that are more susceptible to, like, oxygenation.
Yes. And I was about to link it, and it's when you breathe, you're literally putting oxygen into your brain, which allows you to be less stressed out, to think clearer, to slow down. Like I'm like.
Let's breathe. It literally oxygenates trillions of cells that are inside of you. Like, there's like a ridiculous amount of, like, living organisms inside of you. There's a ridiculous amount of work being done every moment, and all of it relies on oxygen. All of it. So the more oxygen you can pass through, probably the better.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something kind of darks, but
Okay.
it's like going to the point. It's like when you are brain dead, it's because you don't have any oxygen going into your brain. So that's how important it is to, like, oxygen to flow into your brain.
Is that the truth of brain death?
Yeah.
Really?
Like when you're brain dead, it means that there's no oxygen going into your brain. And after that, there's really no way back because of the parts of your brain start dying because there is no oxygen flow.
Scary.
So let's breathe.
Let's be grateful for the fact that we can breathe
Consciously,
well.
and that we're able to breathe with just, like, with no external factors. I was doing yoga today, and I was very distracted. I was just very distracted. And what I love about yoga is that breathing is, like, the most important thing about yoga. Because if you're not breathing, if you're holding your breath, you're not able to do the poses as well, because you're distracted by what other people doing. What am I doing? Am I doing it right? And when all of those things, so much clutter goes into your brain, you're like start holding your breath, and nothing it's not flowing. I hope that's making sense.
It makes total sense to me.
So that's why they tell you so much during a yoga class, like, breathe. And when I breathe, I'm able to do the poses better. I'm able to connect with my body better. And I'm able to be present.
And probably also more enjoyable as well.
For sure.
Well,
For sure.
I was thinking, what came up in my mind was, there was one day I had done a intense exercise training program.
They're intense.
Yes, and it was 9 weeks, and an hour every day. And there was one particular time when I had really nicely meditated beforehand. And I kept the consciousness of my breath. I made the conscious decision to keep being conscious of my breath.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I've done that only a few days. Like, I'm still, ideally, it would be every day of my life, but making the conscious decision to be aware of your breath all day is very cool. But I decided to be very conscious of my breath for the exercise, which is very demanding.
Yes, it's very literally high intensity.
Yes, and very difficult. Like, it's just difficult. So, in this time was clearly the best of all of the exercises I had ever had. Like I was just enjoying it, and I was never enjoying it. Like, the point was not to enjoy. Like, I guess, like, they want you to enjoy it, of course,
right.
but like, you're not really doing it to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or some people are. I wasn't. But in that time, I was really enjoying it, and I was just sort of like, wow, my body can do this. Wow, like, my body could do this. And like, the endorphins, like, actually feeling them, being conscious of the endorphins that are coming through, and like seeing the world, like seeing the outside, and seeing like the place of where you are in this moment. Like, wow, like, it's really nice.
Yes, because it's so important. And I think the example that you gave is one of the perfect examples of how breathing in your daily in your daily life, in your daily day-to-day, in your daily day-to-day, wow, very redundant, is so beneficial. Before a workout, yoga is a workout.
It is, and
it's more enjoyable when you breathe.
Yes, and yoga is like there for conscious breathing.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, yoga serves the breath more than yoga serves the body, but yoga also serves the breath. Like, it's supposed to allow for as much conscious breathing as possible. So.
And breathing, I don't know what it's called, but there is this breathing exercise that you could do that would literally put you in a psychedelic state by just breathing.
Do you know, like, what that?
I can look it up right now, but
well, like, I'll say, like the psychedelic state. Yeah, I think, like, when you're meditating or when you're consciously breathing, the way to be able to do that is probably like long, deep, short breathing over an extended amount of time to be able to get yourself lightheaded. Lightheaded sometimes would sound like it's like it kind of feels scary. It kind of feels like, oh, you're gonna pass out. Kind of feels like things start tingling, but like, that's the moments when, like, you're like, wow, like, that feels good. You know. Actually, yesterday, I was speaking to a group of guys that are here at this hotel that I'm staying at, and they sort of have this same vision of me that you were seeing, and, you know, that I'm putting out there. And they're always like, wow, man, you're always so zen. Like, you're always so, like, wow. Like, wow.
You have
teach me what, like. And then, like, we've also talked about psychedelics a little bit, because we can do another podcast about that. You know, I was talking to three of them, and I was talking about how basically all of the things that we just spoke about, like, oh, it brings you back to, like, the moment that you are right now. It
centers you.
Yeah, it centers you. It slows down your heart rate. It makes you more relaxed. It does. I was talking about breathing, and the other guy walks in. He's overhearing it, and he's like, oh, "So what drug are you talking about?"
Oh my gosh!
I like breathing.
I like that.
I like breathing. Yeah, that was a pretty funny. Pretty funny interaction.
Connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt like, wow, you know, there are so many powers that we have. Like, we decide what we look at. I mean, a lot of times we don't decide because we've just been we've been stuck into this routine, and it's not really our faults. Like like we've been told sort of how to spend your time, what to care about, and all of these things. But like you can go and adjust whatever you want to feel, like whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And you can go and just enjoy breathing in the way that you scroll Instagram.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, whenever I look at Instagram, I like scroll, and I consciously say, okay, I'm gonna look at 4 more stories or like 4 more posts.
Okay.
I keep doing it, right? And I keep looking at stories.
Okay.
But I notice that when I am in the app itself and I'm looking at it and then I put it down, after putting it down, I release my breath. And it's like I've been holding my breath while I scroll.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah. I wonder if the holding the breath part of it is actually like that like the endorphin rush or the dopamine rush that you're getting by scrolling. Or now it's like, and we've fried our dopamine by doing this, but that doesn't mean that we can't get it back.
Right.
We can just be conscious of
How?
the amount of time how we're utilizing social media.
True.
How we're utilizing our time, how connected we are to the fact that we're human. Like, I don't even know what that means. Like how we ended up here.
Season 4, 5,
Yeah,
6.
Right. We'll need 8 seasons. And it's like you can go and you could say, oh, there's like, you can judge yourself on your breathing. Oh, that wasn't that good of a breathing session, or I was only able to get to like 4 breaths that were conscious, and then I drifted off into something and I forgot that I was doing that. But like, it's breathing, and it's also like it's like 4 breaths more than you were doing beforehand.
True.
So try like breathing. And I'm saying this like to myself too, like breathing, if anything, should not be a competition in your life. Breathing is really a good one to like say like, I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, of course, of course.
I don't want to be the best breather. I don't want to like
I'm a professional breather.
Right, exactly. That's the yeah.
Which some people are
professional
breathers if you think about it.
But yes, they are for sure professional breathers. That sounds like a life worth living.
So what do you do? I'm a professional breather.
Yeah. Oh, I want a podcast talking about breathing. So.
Bro, because breathing is so essential. It is life. Like the trees give you essentially your breath, pureness.
Mm-hmm. And the trees give knowledge. I'm gonna go right out and say it. You can give me flack if you want, but like, the trees have a lot of knowledge, and sitting with the trees, man, is really cool. Really cool. I would also like to state, because I think like people like, because I speak like that, like, I would like to demystify that as well. Like before we like had
exactly
these structures, like before all these structures were in place, like it'd be very, very natural to feel connected to nature. Like it would feel like being connected to a set of trees that give you a certain life. Like it's a very reasonable thing.
Yeah.
We've become sort of very detached from that. Nice, same time. We've become very detached from that. So like concepts like this are only going to come out to like when like to a general person's response being like, what are you smoking? Like, what are you smoking? And it's like, I have a pipe, but this is like literally this is my grandfather's tobacco pipe. So it's not like, and
we're not smoking anything.
No.
But I feel like people have that perception
Mm-hmm.
of, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
People have that perception of when you're like walking barefoot, or you're talking to the trees,
Yes.
or to your flowers, or even like hugging a tree. They're like, what the fuck are they on?
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you on? Why are you not hugging a tree, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
I love how it came out so defensive, like, what are you on?
Yeah.
But it's that, it's so necessary to, like, you want to know something crazy?
Yes.
I have a lot of plants in my room, and I love it. And I have one specific plant that it's called, it looks like a mint leaf, but
Okay.
it's purple.
Okay.
Do you know which ones I'm talking about?
No.
Or it's just a plant. And one of the stems has like little thingies coming out that they can become like branches.
Yeah.
They have little tiny branches.
Okay.
And flowers were not coming out of it. And so I talk to my flowers, and they talk to my plants, because plants, I think I read this, but I haven't verified it. But I think plants have the same senses that we do. They can hear, they can smell, probably.
Mm-hmm.
They can touch. They're very smart creatures. Like, plants have been here before us.
Plants are the ultimate breathers, by the way.
Literally.
Really good breathers.
Literally. So I started looking at my plant, and it was like so empty. It was this like a stick with only a couple of leaves, but I could see that there was like little tiny branches. And so I literally started talking to them, and I named my plants.
Okay.
So I give my plants names and intentions. And so, for example, that one is called Mo, because it's green. And
Shout out to Mo.
Momo.
What's up, Mo? Hope you're watching.
Yes. And every time I water that is like Mo for money. So every time I water it, I'm increasing like my abundance of money.
Yeah.
And I have different plans for different things.
Uh-huh.
So I started talking to it. I was like, and I remember I was putting like sage over it, and like, I'm so sorry for not watering you, because it was like, they get so sad. I'm gonna show you a picture. I'm gonna like insert it. But they're little, like, instead of being like this, they're like that. They're like just sad. They what's the word? They
Wither.
Yes. And so that's when I know that I need to start putting water. And once I started putting water, I told the plant, I'm like, you're gonna grow maticas here. Like, you're just gonna start growing. And it's starting to bloom.
Wow.
All of the little stakes are starting to bloom.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's big.
Yes. So I don't know why I just told you guys that story. But it's important to the plants.
Yeah.
It's important to be with nature. And just because you're being with nature and you're talking to plants and hugging trees and being in nature, that doesn't make you a weirdo. If anything, you're going back to your roots.
Wow.
See what I did there?
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good. I would just finish off that thought by saying, like, that is nature in terms of like the external that you can speak to, but like you can also really, like, through breathing and through conscious awareness. So breathing helps you become conscious of different parts of your body, but like you can have conversation with your heart. Like, there's meditation to have conversation with your heart. Like, you can, the heart has the thing is, like, the heart has neural network. There are 3 parts of your body that have neural networks. It's not just your brain.
Yes.
The brain has the most part.
Yes.
The heart has the second most,
and your intestines.
Yes, and your intestines have the rest. So it's like you think, you go with your gut, you think you speak from your heart, or you, like, these are actually like real. Like, it's real. Like, there's memory inside of here.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think that what you're thinking about, you're about to cry.
No, I'm just taking everything in. Like it is true.
Yeah, and the way you're thinking about your sort of withering plant, I have thought about for my digestive tract for a long time. Like the amount of bullshit that I've put into it for so long, and like it constantly screaming out to me like, "Yo, stop!
Yes.
Like, please
Yes.
stop." So like you can actually like. If you're breathing and you go down into really the belly, you go into the intestine.
Let me do that because I need
Yeah.
that, and then I'll talk about that too.
That's
because
like that's a really wonderful source for really calming down. Like a lot of anxiety happens right there.
in the stomach.
Yeah.
You know why? The stomach is where you feel all your fear, and the heart is where you feel all the love.
Okay.
So whenever you have any kind of negative feeling, you're gonna feel it in your belly. That's why you feel a little bit sick. Your stomach hurts when you're nervous. You're uncomfortable, and you think it's because of the whole neurons.
Well, I've really had conversations with my gut to be able to like sort of say apologize, but then also like calm it. You know, really calm the gut to understanding exactly as you just mentioned, fear, like saying we don't need to be.
I love that you mentioned the gut because I was actually getting a I've known like okay, so right here in my chin I get a lot of cystic acne.
Okay.
And it's been happening for years, and it's not because I get my period, and it's not because I'm stressed. Like it happens randomly, but I get it really, really bad. Right now, it's good, but they usually get very red, and since it's cystic, since they're cysts, they're like underneath the skin,
Yes.
but they also get pus, and it's like 3 heads in one pimple. And I know I hate taking pills. I don't like taking outside medicine.
It'll kill your digestive tract.
Yes,
Literally,
and
it's
so
bad.
I feel that besides this being a hormonal area, I know that there's something that my body is screaming to me like stop
Yeah,
eating that. So I'm
okay.
trying to really
Figure out
hard
what it is.
stop eating lactose, not eating meat, but I really want to do I don't know, like an intestine cleanse. I don't know if
I don't know too much. I'm just a
or like
breathing guy.
oh, but I want you to teach me like the whole talking to it because I
Okay.
do feel like I need to apologize and yeah.
It'll say it all's good, like pretty quickly.
Breathing is the most essential thing that we have, and it's so beautiful, so important, and I think everyone should learn how to consciously breathe, and that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast with a little expert.
No, just a evolver.
Evolver, I love
Yes.
that.
I don't know anything really about breathing. Like I just know how to look at it sometimes.
But that's more than what people know.
Yes, but should that be considered an expert?
You're an expert.
I'm pretty good at it. All right.
Yeah, because technically you are an expert until you learn more, and then you become more of an expert.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So you're technically an expert.
Okay.
You're knowledgeable
Yes.
in breathing.
Level 1 knowledge, or level 3 maybe.
Level 3. Wow.
I'm certified. I'm a certified breather.
And then you say that you don't know anything about
Yeah, 'cause the
breathing and
class
you're not
was-
an expert.
No, I mean I know things about breathing for sure. But
Level 3.
yes, level 3.
I'm thinking of if you can give us maybe a little exercise that people can do whenever they're feeling anxious or nervous, and how to how to get to the point that we need to consciously breathe, and 2, how to do it, and 3, why it's important.
Okay.
That was too fast. Like
No,
1, 2, 3, 4,
yeah,
and 5.
yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see if I can handle it. Um, when you're, for anybody who's been down an anxious streak, um, that gets to near a point of panic attack, or to whatever level of varying degree that is really a difficult situation for you to be in, where you feel what's really, yeah, overwhelmed by what's happening, or at least what you're perceiving is happening.
That's important.
Yes, that's the entire key. Before you go into, there's never a point of no return. There's just a point of, it's really difficult. Like, it's really difficult to get out of this in a short amount of time.
Okay.
You know, but there is, like, if you could start recognizing when anxiety is really creeping in, and you're able to stop it, and just as we did in the beginning, breathe 3 times through your nose and exhale.
Do you make the sound for a specific reason?
I'm sure there is, but right now, no, it was just what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah. What you're allowing yourself to do, if you give yourself 3 breaths, is you get to take this anxiety stream of thought after thought after thought of like what you think is, but isn't actually in the moment. Like, it isn't actually what's happening, but it is. It's very real because it's inside of your head. But let me try to get this very clear.
Okay.
When you're going down the anxious hole, you have decisions to make throughout the entire experience. And usually it's very easy to succumb to the next stage of anxiety, and the next stage of anxiety, and the next stage of anxiety, into a point where your mind and your perception has taken over your entire basis of reality, and that becomes very, very scary. So the best thing to do is just to recognize when you're getting to a point that almost feels as if it's, well, the sooner that you're able to recognize it, great. But if you're able to recognize it before it gets to a point of no return, to where it's like, now the mind has completely taken over and I am sort of really in this, and it's going to take me time to get out of it. If you can make the conscious decision to say, I'm going to breathe 3 times consciously, it's going to begin to allow you to center yourself into what's really happening in this moment right now. What can I control? What can I actually do about this right now? And a lot of times there's nothing you can do right now, because you're not in the situation, you're not in work where the thing you're thinking about is, or you're not with the person that you feel you need to speak to, or you're not, but it helps you connect back to reality, and then actually it can steer you into a direction to where you could either make the decision of saying, I can do something about this, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make an actual physical, like, conscious change to the situation. Or you're going to recognize and say, there's really nothing I can do about it right now. and that's going to calm your mind. So it's going to take you from a place of hysteria to a place of rationality before it's too late. Like before the rational part of it is out the window.
Right.
You know, I don't know if
That makes
that was
sense.
okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a very, it's a tough topic to speak about, but it is true. It's if we can train to recognize, become conscious of when we are anxious. That's the first part. Like, you have to become conscious of, okay, this sensation's happening, this sensation's happening. My mind is starting to go, okay, I'm anxious and I'm going down the path. What can I do about it? Breathe 3 times. Consciously breathe 3 times. See what happens. I can't explain what's going to happen as clearly as I would like to, but you're not going to feel worse.
Right.
That's for sure.
At least a little bit of oxygen is going into
Yes.
your brain.
Yes.
My friend mentioned that, and tying it back, full circle moment.
Oh, here we go.
So what I said about looking at an object, you can implement the breathing 3 times by looking at an object to be completely concentrated on that object plus breathing instead of like, you know, because like you're distracted everywhere and your mind is all over the place. So maybe try that while looking at an object, whatever that is. If you don't have anything that you are interested in, look at your hand.
Because what's happening is like you're anxious and your heart is racing at a pace where there's no reason really for, you don't need as much blood flow as like your anxiety is telling you need. Because what your anxiety is telling you is that this is a life or death situation right now. Like, this is something that we have to decide to make it, we have to go and we have to do this right now. Like, right now. And like you're telling your heart, you're telling all of your senses, like, it's fight or flight. Like, it's like we have to make this decision right in this moment. But if it, full circle moment to how I'm speaking initially about breathing, you're sending the signals to the rest of your body to say like, okay, my mind's doing this right now. Like, there is something, but we can, it's not a full experience, you know, like, this is not life or death, simple as that.
Right.
You can tell the rest of your body this is not life or death.
It's like your mind is the little wheel and the rest of your body are the tires. Yeah, kinda. Did I go too?
The wheel, like the steering wheel?
Yes. Like your mind is the
Oh.
steering wheel,
Yeah.
and it's telling you to like go left or go
Wow.
right
Yeah.
to your
Yeah.
the rest of your body.
Cool. For sure.
Do you have anything else to say?
Maybe we can close with 10 breaths. Come on, let's try it. Maybe even if you can do 5.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
5. Let's do 5.
Okay, let's do 5.
And then if you want to keep moving forward, that's all for you. So again, you can close your eyes, and you might even just, before you're consciously breathing, start to feel a little bit different. It might feel a little weird, but embrace it. Just breathe in through your nose. Feel the air go up in through your brain, down through your lungs, and exhale 1. The air almost does a little bit of a roller coaster inside of you, so it's kind of fun. In through the nose. And exhale. In through the nose. Exhale. And this next one, let's inhale. Try to send it all through your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Exhale. And then this last breath, let's try to send it all the way through the body, just slowly recognizing every part of us. Big breath in. Feel it fill your whole body. Exhale. Everything is okay. Inhale. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for being here, for telling us everything that you know, for guiding us, for explaining, and for talking about a subject that it's literally essential to life.
You
Thank
feel
you
pretty
so
good,
much.
right?
Me
You
too.
feel a little
like woo.
like woo.
Like woo.
That's a really good way of putting it. Like woo. Woo.
Alrighty, you guys. I
Yes.
hope you feel like
Woo.
And I would love to know if you guys feel a little bit different. And I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I hope that you apply what we said here to your daily life, especially moments that you're feeling overwhelmed or that you're feeling something you don't want to feel. Go back to your breath, breathe in, breathe out 3 times, look at an object, and that's it.
Just try to be better every day.
True. We have the choice. We can be better every minute if we really, really wanted to. Okay.
Every moment.
Every moment. Woo!
Woo, man. Wow, breathing. It's cool.
Thank you guys.
Yes,
Have
thank
a
you.
wonderful day, night, afternoon, whatever time you're in.
Yes.
Bye.